Good morning. Welcome to the 9th episode of the Tribe Table Talk podcast.
Ding, ding, ding.
What's cracking, everyone?
What's good? What up, Doe?
What's good?
What's up?
Number 9.
Yeah. Yo. We took a break, so we're back. It's been about 2 weeks since we recorded, so we're back. Then we're happy to be back to this.
Been a minute.
Recording another episode for y'all. So, of course, to my left, we got the great Calvin Freeman. You know what I mean?
Salute.
Yes.
The Freeman.
We got Wes Trammell, of course.
What's good, baby?
The one and only chosen one himself.
No, only one me.
Only
you know
one.
What I mean? And then we got the great Dion Dean.
Masked up.
Do-rag.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Masked
Masked
up.
up,
I'm
Dean.
do-ragged up, fitted up.
And of course,
jewelried
yourself,
up.
truly, Kenny Koto.
Bro, you got a lot of gold on, bro. What's
Ooh,
good?
it's the occasion, man. I got to do it for my little one, man. His birthday party today. So,
Okay.
Little man birthday. All right. We got a lot of August and September birthdays we must, huh?
Happy birthday
Yeah,
to the
man.
little fella.
he
Birthday.
appreciates it. Appreciate it.
I bring
Got
up
him a-
little Eli.
You got
Got
the
him a
gold in your
little-
mouth, bro?
No, I ain't got that yet. I want it, but I might get it. I might have to, hit them streets one more time and get them official joints.
You about to
Harmony.
get that gold in your mouth, huh?
Harmony's birthday coming up, right, Wes?
Yeah, bro. In 2 weeks. Crazy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Man.
man. It's that season, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
What's up with the virtual mask, though, Dion?
Hey, man. Just it's fitting for the occasion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We out here living life, and you got to be, according to the people and the media and the things going on, man. We got to be masked up, man, no matter what.
Bro,
I
you
wish it
gotta,
was ski masked up. I wish it was that, but
you gotta
True.
follow the CDC virtually too, bro. You know?
yeah, man, they affect everything. You know what I'm saying? They all over. So hey,
Word up.
Yeah, they're gonna put a tagline under this one.
All
It's
right.
staying on pretty good though.
I know, man.
I
It's
see.
crazy, right?
It's kind of going everywhere you go.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, it don't protect you from much.
That's just funny that's an option.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's funny
So,
that's an option. Like, it's just weird.
It is.
you getting this thing with this boy though.
Stupid.
Oh, you want to do Icebreaker West, or are we just gonna just want to jump in?
Man, let me see. So, if you had just a question, there's only 4 of us here since Ernest is dealing with some things. He'll be here soon. But
Yeah.
if you had the opportunity to replace the other guys at the table, anybody, dead or alive, who would you choose?
You said replace somebody at the table, like take
Mhm.
somebody out.
Yep. No, like everyone.
Like-
So 3 other people. So you could record an episode
Gotcha.
with 3 other people and chop it up with them. Anyone, dead or alive. Who would it be?
Man, you had something like this similar, but it was Bible characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
I don't know, man.
I'd probably keep Paul on the list for sure. I'm fighting between Paul or David. I might just have Paul and David. I'm trying to think of that third one though. We gotta be exclusive.
So it doesn't have to be Bible characters. It's gonna be
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
thinking
That's what I'm
anybody,
saying.
too. I'm thinking anybody.
I'm gonna keep it G. I would go back to. I would talk to my pops.
Okay.
Oh wow. Okay.
You took my answer.
Yeah. My pops really don't. If you who don't know, my pops passed when I was 4. Like,
Mhm.
but I've always had my stepdad who's been there since to infinity and beyond. So, But yeah, I would definitely put him in my top 3, no doubt.
That's what's up, bro. Love that.
Yeah.
So
Had to be exclusive.
Yeah, I hear you. Man, that was my answer too, Cal. Since I didn't even know Pops, I just wanted to go back and holler at him like, "Hey, man, what's up with you? You know what I'm saying? How you doing? What's going on with you? Where was you at?" But no, he passed when I turned 18. So that's the most things that I know about him. He passed. So.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. A lot of people come to my head. I would like to I would like to speak to like Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because he was just a crazy personality.
Yeah.
I felt like rap came from him in a way.
Man,
The dude had bars before hip hop was even the thing.
Yeah. I wonder if he like
I'm slick. I'm quick.
Yeah.
So what you say? I can't even get it right.
I wonder if he like wrote his stuff. He like prepared it beforehand and like practiced it, or if he just did it off top.
He probably did, man.
Sometimes he just went. He went for like 3 minutes. Sometimes just like
freestyling.
It's like a whole song.
I'm a tiger and I'll bite you and I'll lay you down and have him write you across the chalk down.
Them's written.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're ugly, boy. You're ugly. You're ugly. It's hard to throw all that up in there too, man.
OG for real though.
Yeah.
I'm so mean I make medicine sick. That's what he said.
Man.
I couldn't think of it.
Bars. He had came to Muskegon Heights like years ago, like when I was little. I think I was like 4 or 5, and I ended up shaking his hand, yo.
Oh man, that's what's up.
It's crazy.
Yeah, one of my favorites, bro.
Yeah, I would have loved to talk to him. Like, how was it to dodge a draft?
Yeah,
when you know what I mean, everybody else was kind of like, you know, going along with it, and you know, like just that kind of courage he got. I would like ask him about that, and this dude fought some like freaking beasts like George Foreman. Like people don't know how crazy George Foreman was in his prime.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I mean? He was like, he was like, you know, Mike Tyson before Mike Tyson, you know.
Where Cassius Clay.
Yeah.
I would choose him for sure. Muhammad Ali, one of my favorite athletes ever. I had a poster up here behind me, but took it down because we moving. But I want to keep the energy flowing on this, and choose Tupac because that boy wild, but at the same time, super smart. And he would just have a lot of good stuff to talk about. And then, man, I would want to talk to Malcolm X, bro.
Yeah. King.
Yeah.
Man.
You know, I would. A lot of like Christian men would probably say like Martin Luther King and stuff like that.
No.
Like it would be cool to talk to him, but I would really want to ask Malcolm X like some questions, especially after he, you know, had that beef with the nation, and his mind started, you know, his opinions and thoughts started like changing and things like that. Like I would love to ask, like, what was your mindset after that? So I think that table would be crazy. I would just like, I would be like Ernest and ask questions and just sit back.
Sink back into the bushes, bro. For real.
Man, I believe those three would go crazy. And then Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X were friends anyway, so
it's true.
They would have some cool chemistry.
So they dropped that movie. They dropped that movie with all of them in there, right? Like him.
One Night in Miami or whatever.
Yeah, I still ain't seen it, yo.
I haven't either. I need to watch it.
Dropped it.
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I've been lacking.
Yeah.
Man, so many people I could say.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm feeling today. Tomorrow will probably be different.
Yeah, right.
So you know who I really want to interview though? You know what I'm saying?
Who
Been
is
a
it?
fan a long time, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Gotta interview Beyonce, you know what I'm saying?
Beyonce.
And ask her, you know what I'm saying? Who told you can sing? Or I mean, who told you can act? I'm sorry.
Dang, bro.
Oh my God.
You getting disrespectful.
No, I'm just playing, man. My wife,
the beehive gonna be after you, bro.
No, I was a fan of Beyonce when I used to listen to music like that. You know what I'm saying? So
before the baby,
my wife would tell you I had a picture and everything on my little work ID. You know what I'm saying? Because I was at work all day just working, and I'm like, I need to look at something. Oh, Beyonce.
Bro, you know her followers shoot to kill, bro.
And look, man, people got to quit idolizing people. That's what's wrong with people now. That's what's wrong with people, and that's wrong with the church. Quit idolizing these people.
Word up.
Oh God, as they say.
Oh God.
All right, Kay, what we got, bro? What's going on today?
Yeah. So today, man, we're gonna dive into talking about these jab mandates, man.
I'm with the jab.
What made me want to talk about this a little bit was man, just like every time I wake up, man, and I just kind of check the news, man, it look like we just living in like the Twilight Zone, man. Like I've never felt like that more in my life than now. Like it's really like we living in some straight, like we living in a movie. It felt like,
yeah,
you know what I mean. And there's a few times where I'm like, man, all these, you know, people that we think are crazy because they think this is going to happen and this is going to happen in society. And it's like conspiracy theorists, like this stuff is like coming true. Like this stuff is like real life that's happening right now for our very eyes. And it's like, wow. And, you know, the jab mandates is crazy. I don't know if you guys like are paying attention in the news or just kind of like following world events and stuff like that. But like, there are more and more mandates being pushed and pressuring people to take the VJab. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, you know, and some people may be vaccinated, may not be vaccinated. You know, I'm not really here to shame anybody who has already or is thinking about getting it. But my main concern is, should people really be mandating the VJab for employment? You know what I'm saying? Like you got a bill right now being proposed in Congress where it's like they're actually, I forgot who started the bill, but it's you know, it's being proposed that, you know, you got to get the jab before you can fly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's just like I'm just looking up and I'm just seeing like every commercial, whether it's on the radio, whether it's on TV, whatever, pushing this jab so hard. And I'm like, man, the push, I've never seen anything be pushed so hard in my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like we were watching a movie. This is an app called Pluto TV. I don't know if you guys ever watched anything on there, but
I use Pluto. Shout out Pluto, free TV.
You know what I mean? Me and my wife we were watching a movie and it was free, but it comes with ads. You know, sometimes you watch something for free and it comes with ads. You're like, all right, you know. And every ad, I swear, I kid you not, every ad was pushing the jab. Like every ad. And these ads, you could tell they were particularly targeting Black people. They were like Black people in each episode, or I'm sorry, in each commercial, and they're just pushing this jab, you know, you know, these sad stories, which, you know, people have died from COVID. I get it. I'm not trivializing that, but it's like, you know, really pushing this, you know, Black people for good reason. You know, one of the demographics of people who are the most vaccine hesitant, you know, I said the word, they're most jab hesitant. And they, you know, and for good reason. We read about I don't know if you guys are familiar with the syphilis experiments and stuff like that happened decades ago. And it's just kind of like really bothering me, where I'm kind of like, man, we might live in some crazy market of peace. We seeing that kind of like, the precursor of that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it's like not even, it seems to be kind of like or trying to create this division between people where it's like you got the ones without the jab and then the ones with the jab over here. And it's no longer the narrative is no longer like, hey man, you want to get it. If you don't get it, that's cool. It's not that anymore. It's like, oh, you need to get the jab. You're selfish.
You can save lives.
Yeah, you're gonna infect other people. And you got people calling for this stuff, calling for restaurants to not allow people in unless they got the jab. You got people like supporting this stuff, and I'm just like, wow, we living in some crazy times.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So I guess, what's you guys' thoughts? Cal, do you have something? I know you was about to say something.
Yeah, and you was talking specifically to the targeting of the ads and things like that, and so I've noticed that as well, just from local radio stations like hip hop stations that I listen to, and it's just all commercials pushing, the jab over and over and over. So I don't know. It definitely feels like there is some targeting going on, and then you kind of compare it to the mandates that kind of come down, and we're in Michigan, so just kind of different from other locations. But you kind of compare it to the mandates and the restrictions and the, what privileges the vaccinated can have versus the unvaccinated. And you look at it and you look how the Black community is not vaccinated basically, or not doesn't have the jab. And so you can see how that can create an issue long term going down the road. So I'm like, okay, so that's kind of a slippery slope we riding here. And so I think we're gonna run into some discrimination issues if we haven't seen it already.
Right.
But the biggest thing for me was in regards to the kids,
they're coming after the kids too.
Exactly. Yeah. And again, our mandates are a little bit different here in Michigan. So, they're trying to impose those types of restrictions on the kids as young as kindergarten,
Yeah.
And then that's kind of hitting home for me as well, just because I have a 4-year-old that's entering school now. So I'm already a little anxious. So on top of this, it's like now I have to worry about, restrictions and health restrictions and things that are not about, I don't believe that are like the restrictions that they're trying to enforce, I think would lead to more damage than good. You know what I mean? Like masking a 4-year-old for 8 hours in a day doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
So those are the type of internal struggles that I'm having, that and decisions that my family's going to have to make moving forward. So it's just, I don't know. That's what we're dealing with right now.
Word.
Yeah.
So you said something that brought something to my mind. So I think I was listening to a lady. She was giving a testimony. I forgot her name, and she said, I think she said 70%. I could be wrong on that. I think she said 70% of the Black community is not vaccinated. So she was like, "What are you gonna do? Tell 70% of the Black community that they can't enter into restaurants, that they can't go to sporting events." You know what I'm saying? Like, exactly. We really want to do that again, for the sake of a jab. That is
slippery slope,
and for, like I said, for good reason. You got New York City. I was looking it up. Is the first major city to have a vax mandate, where people literally got to have a vax to go into restaurants, to go work out of the gym. I was looking up another city, New Orleans. New Orleans, man. I kind of was like, New Orleans, really? You know what I'm saying? The southern states usually don't play that, but they got a whole mandate on their city. where you have to have you have to have the jab to get a lot of stuff, to be able to do a lot of stuff. And now you got to get a jab for the Saints home games.
You seen that?
You know what I'm saying? And then I read an article where it was like, you know, the price of tickets are selling really, really low because, you know what I mean? Nope. You mandate the jab. Like, we got to think about how this stuff is going to affect businesses too.
Exactly.
This stuff is going to destroy businesses, you know, because how do you speak about, or how do you make change? A lot of times you make change or by your wallet, you know, like if you want a business to really do X, Y, and Z or change a policy or whatever. And some people are like, hey man, you requiring a jab. I'm good. Like this stuff, mandating this stuff, it doesn't like, how do they think this is going to persuade people?
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I can't go to the restaurant. I really should get that jab, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? All you do is kind of push people further away. Exactly. Make them more like, oh, word? Oh, okay. All right. I'm gonna speak with my wallet and not spend money at this place or what X, Y, and Z. At least that's how I think. And you know, and the thing is, like, this is being pushed so hard, and it's like, you know, I even talked to some people who do have the jab, and I'm like, okay, cool. If that's what you felt like you needed to do, that's fine. Your body, your choice, right? But even they are like, man, I wish they just leave people alone. Like, if they don't want the jab, just leave them alone. Even they're saying that, you know? And I'm like, oh, okay, wow. Even they're saying that. They're not like, oh, you don't get it. You know, it's like, there's a lot of virtue signaling happening, man. You know, where people, and it's been happening this whole pandemic. They've been doing this whole time, where it's like, you're more virtuous if you do X, Y, and Z. You're more virtuous if you wear a mask. You're selfless, or I'm sorry, you're selfish if you don't. You know what I mean?
You all are selfish.
You're selfish, right? You don't care about lives. You don't care about the old and the elderly. Like, bro, you're a better person than me because you got the jab? For real? That's what we pushing now?
I mean, you know.
Yeah.
You ain't listening, man. You got to listen to what they tell you on TV.
Man, it's like, it's so much more. Go ahead, Cal.
No, I was just speaking to Deion's point. It's like, I think that's where the issue is. It's just the mainstream media, I think, is doing such a bad job reporting on this, and just the fear mongering. And I think it's just leading to other things, because everybody's doing things out of fear. Businesses doing things out of fear. People doing things out of fear. And so, you know, as a believer, you know, just looking back at the situation and taking a step back, it's like, okay, what are we really doing here? And so we're closing down churches, we're closing down schools, you know, for something that we know it's right on the site, on the CDC site, like recovery rate is very, very high, especially among children, which is, you know, back to the kids thing. So why the strict mandates? Why the, you know, pushing the jab so hard? And why can't you speak against the jab? Or why are no other alternative, you know, outside of Western medicine, you know, alternatives being advertised, you know what I mean, being pushed, you know? So it's like, it seems weird to me. It just seems a little off. So my thing is, though, I think you draw a line when you start affecting the kids, you know, because it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me.
Ernest and Wes, you guys got thoughts?
I guess my question is, where do y'all think we should go from here then? Do we just keep living our lives and COVID is just the way of life from now on? Is that ideal? Or like, what do we do?
And look, this is what we do, bro. We ship half the vaccinated people over here to Africa, right? You ship the other half. No, I'm just playing, bro. I'm messing with y'all. Go ahead, Kenny.
I mean, what you mean? Like, what should we do as far as
what's the alternative as far as, like, you know, not getting vaccinated and, you know,
It will
Like
be
how do we get over? How do we make sure COVID is behind us? Basically,
Get back to normal.
Because it's gonna be here.
Right.
If
right.
we not if people don't get vaccinated or people don't do things to
I
try
think,
to make it go away.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you said what's the alternative? I think that people just let people live their lives, man. Like COVID-19 will always be out there, probably. There's a lot of sicknesses that are just out there, and we continue to live our lives. People are going to die every year from sicknesses, from diseases. That's something we can't avoid. You know what I mean? Like, we got all these restrictions and masks and lockdowns, and people still dying from COVID. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't fix the issue anyways. And thousands of people die.
The whole point.
From the regular flu. And we don't shut down society. You know what I'm saying? Like, thousands, I think the number one killer in America is heart disease. I believe.
Obesity and heart
Can
disease.
you catch heart disease from somebody?
No. But are we shutting down McDonald's?
Should.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so it's just like
even.
Go ahead, Cal.
No, I was just saying, even the flu, it's like those numbers have always been there, and we've had a jab for that for I don't know how long. So I mean, that's another conversation, but
right, and it'll be different.
Nothing.
Right, and it'd be different if the vaccine, if the jab actually like cause it to where if you get it, okay, you good, you won't catch it no more. But there's no evidence of that. You got people who got it and still catch it. You got people who are fully jabbed up and still die. So it's like it's not really a solution really anyway. So I think that people should just allow people to live their lives. Stop quarantining people who are healthy. And continue to just, everybody should just use wisdom. But, you got people who are going to get sick and still go out into the world. You still got, you know what I'm saying? Like that, there's just things that we can't really control.
Yeah.
So I think that, we continue to just live our lives, move past this and cut it out with all the mandates and the shutting things down, because it doesn't help anything anyway.
And then to attach on to your point, and then just looking at history too, and taking a different perspective on it, just for the government overreach perspective. We can't allow our rights to be infringed on like that, because it opens the door for them to do it for another sickness. What's stopping them from causing a sickness to take more rights? That's another slippery slope we could dive into. So I'm just looking at that perspective too as well, because I'm just looking at just the volume of just how much they've pushed this so far to this point. And looking at it from a different perspective as well, as someone who's just kind of lived their life as normal and haven't really been following any restrictions. And so just looking at that, and of course I've made life changes, like getting healthier and things like that, starting with the water I drink. But other than that, it's like that's a telltale sign for me, just individually. But as far as alternatives, just because I got the platform, they got the there's other treatments out here, bro. So don't let the media lie to you and talk about how these other treatments are just like not compatible or not anywhere treatable for COVID or anything like that. So there's budesonide, there's hydroxychloroquine, and there's ivermectin. So do your own research. I'm not giving you no advice. I have not taken either one of those. So it's like I'm just giving people more information that I've reached on. I'm just telling you what I know.
All right. Hey, go ahead, man. You got something to say? Go ahead, bro.
I think that the vaccination conversation is a interesting conversation
The jab
because, or
conversation.
the jab, everybody know what we're talking about.
Yeah, we just try not
Exactly.
to. We try not to get doxxed though.
Oh no, okay.
Docs, the
Okay.
flag.
Yeah,
is
so
what
okay,
it
the
is.
jab. I think it's interesting because there's so many different perspectives on it throughout the community, from Christian to non-Christian to medical field individuals to non-medical field individuals. I do agree, though, it is a turnoff when you have politicians pushing something so hard and government officials pushing something so hard. It could be a turnoff to make you feel like, why should I do anything? And because politicians just aren't trusted.
Yeah.
And I think, and just working in the political world, I can understand why. So I think that is a turnoff altogether. I also think, though, the better question for us, and I'll say it this way, since we're not in the medical field, because you can talk to someone that's in the medical field in ICU. We did that the other day, and they talked about hospitalization rates increasing, and they weren't one of those individuals that are like, you better go get the jab now. They weren't those individuals necessarily, but they have spoken to hospitalization rates. And then if you're speaking directly to about COVID in general, we all had conversations. Everybody, I've talked to all of you guys about this, and we talk about flu and all these different heart disease and cancer and all these different things that impact the community. One thing that made COVID very real for us, or for me, is I saw 7 or 8 people die from it. So that made it more real for me. Knowing the percentage, knowing statistics, knowing all that type stuff, but it made it more real. I had a lot of people very close to me that actually passed away from it. So now for me, though, and I think for us, and I'm sorry to shift a little bit, but for us, I think, to me, there's a bigger question than the jab versus not getting the jab. I think the bigger question is, how should a Christ follower react when it comes to COVID? How should we as Christians react when it comes to COVID or any type of illness or anything that seems to be impacting our community? And impact is an interesting word, because you can say, well, COVID's killing a lot of people, or you can say, well, the mandates and things like that is killing things and causing a lot of issues. Or you can say, oh, well, there's a big mental health problem now. We can go impact in many different ways. But my bigger question is us as Christians, because I think that's where we can really speak to, because we're not doctors, we're not scientists, but we are researchers. Don't get me wrong. But I think that's the bigger question in my mind is, us as Christians, how should we react to COVID-19?
Well, I know how we should not react.
Okay.
Out of fear. I think we gotta. I'm not saying nobody needs to do telling somebody what someone needs to do. Just when you're talking about reaction, I think everything needs to be prayed over. Everything needs to be discerned. Everything needs to. You need to take a moment to, realize the world you're living in. I think the closer you get to God, the more revelation you have, especially in these days. So, as the believer, I would just stay in that space and not in fear. If anything that is causing fear in your life, then that's the toxicity in your life that I think needs to be removed, whatever that in form or fashion that is. So I just think, the absence of fear is love. So you just got to walk in love, for real. Easier said than done, but I just think we have to stay in that space as believers.
Yeah.
And would you say that will apply? Like, okay, now we got this division between those who are vaccinated, or the jab versus not the jab. We have that out here. So how should we react towards that?
Do what's best for you. Do what's best for you. I mean, if you, like I said, if you feel like you want it and that's what's safe, that's what you do for your, you and your family, then by all means. I mean, just make sure you inform yourself, and allow people the freedom to choose the opposite. And it's, I see people who got the jab, and it's all love. That's, you know what I'm saying. Hey man, you feel like you did what was best for you, and I'm good. But if you do, that's cool. I mean, it's I allow people to live in the freedom that Christ has given us.
And that's the battle we fighting every day, because it's bigger than what we seeing. It's spiritual, because it's like you got sides pulling, you got people pulling on people's heartstrings on certain topics and things like that. So it's like you got to recognize that, and you can't let that affect your relationships that you have. You can't let that affect how you see people, because we're not dealing with people, man. We're dealing with spirits of division, spirits of and we know who's sowing those seeds. So it's like I don't know. That's
everything.
Just
everything y'all boys saying is still that conversation of vaccinated, unvaccinated, heterosexual, homosexual, black and white. Like it's still like all of those things. Like that same mindset you have toward that thing, but you have a different mindset toward this. Like you gotta. And you gotta, pray about it and figure out, okay, where is your line? Like people's lines keep changing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think that there's this false dichotomy being created, where it's like the jab was the alternative. There's a lot of alternatives. They're just not pushed in the media like the jab is. You know what I'm saying? Like Cal was talking about earlier,
bro.
Why are we not talking about getting in shape? I think it was the article I read the other day was 74% of people. I'm sorry, that's the wrong article. My bad. I forgot the percentage, but there's a big chunk of people who those who died from from COVID were overweight. Why are we not talking about that? Why are we not talking about getting healthy? Why are we not talking about how much vitamin D helps our immune system? Why are we not talking about the power of the natural immune system?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Why? Like a lot of why are we not talking about everybody? The power of losing weight.
Yeah, did it say overweight or obese?
I think it said overweight. I thought I had it saved, man.
I feel like overweight.
I'm overweight.
Yeah, like
But I know what you're saying. Can you talking about obese? Yeah,
because I feel like overweight. That's like you can be overweight just with your body type. You know what I mean?
Right.
I feel like weight and all that.
I would probably say 90% of
so
football players are overweight.
My bad. Yeah.
No, but I got what you're saying though. Can you reference obesity?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So this is an article on Reuters. Oh no, I'm sorry, CNBC that says CDC study finds about 78% of people hospitalized for COVID were overweight or obese. Yeah.
Is that just one statistic though? Like, is that just one study, or like what did they compare those things to? You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta when people say stuff like, scientists say that this will make you, transparent. Like, you gotta.
Yeah. Speaking of that,
I mean, without reading the whole article, I mean, it says about 78% of people who have been hospitalized, needed a ventilator, or died from COVID-19 have been overweight or obese. The CDC said in a new study. This was actually back in March. Just over 42% of the U.S. population was considered obese in 2018, according to the agency's most recent statistics. So I'm just kind of like, if it's really about our health, right? If it's really about we gotta stop people from dying and this and that, this is what you would be pushing, I would think. Maybe some of the remedies, you know what I mean? But it's jab, 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 jab. You know what I mean? It's just weird to me.
Yeah. And like pre-jab times, I can remember, which I'm sure this is still the case, but I know our hospitals here, the big hospital, local hospital here is like, they have incentives for calling deaths COVID or something like that. So in my mind, I'm like, why is there incentives for you to write COVID as on the death certificate? Like, you get what I'm saying? And so you can see how that could be manipulated, you know what I'm saying? And not how that could be something that can't be trusted. You know what I'm saying? I can't really trust that if that's your incentives. And along with the incentives with the jabs, we can talk about that. But starting there, that was kind of one of those things where it was a red flag moment for me on the whole situation. Like I said, pre-jab. So I don't know. That was just one thing, because I have a couple of family members at work in the health department that confirmed that. And so, yeah,
it's crazy.
If going back to West Point though, about you know, the things that you can contract or whatever, like with this COVID thing, like it's very real. You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta put that up in bold letters. Like that stuff is real.
for sure.
What the heck do we do? You know what I'm saying? If this is something that we can contract just by, you know, having normal conversation or spitting the gospel to somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is it that as Christians, like, what can we do to basically come to people in love and also like still not, you know, like y'all said, judge people? Like, how can we not judge people for making a decision? Or how can we, you know, get someone to Christ, even if they are going through, you know, having the jab or not having a jab or dealing with side effects of COVID or anything like that? Like, what is it that we can do to help people as Christians?
I think being a part of the solution. So I'm not saying get the jab, like, right? I'm saying all the other solutions. Kenny, you mentioned, Calvin, you mentioned, you know, getting healthy, doing your part to exercise, eat right. If you feel moved to get the jab, get the jab. If you feel whatever you feel, also being respectful of other people's space, other people's wishes. So, you know, I'll admit I got the jab. I'm fully jabbed up twice, both cheeks. Bow bow. Because I felt like it's the best.
You said both cheeks?
Yeah, he said both cheeks.
Yeah.
I didn't know they did them like that.
Yo,
a dad joke, bro. Dad joke.
Yeah, bro. I got it.
I was thinking your shoulder, but all right.
But
I got you, bro. They trying to.
Yeah, I heard him.
bow. Because my wife, I mean, she used to work in the hospital. She saw the wildness going on, but also now she's a birth doula, so she'll be working with, or she is working with, pregnant women very closely. It's close proximity. So to protect, we felt it was best to protect not only the pregnant woman, the unborn baby, our baby, and, you know, her, that we would just, you know, get vaccinated or get the jab, right? So we just felt that was best for us and in our family. No. So as a Christian, we should always be part of the solution, and not, you know, part of the problem. So just whatever you feel like God is moving you to do, just be part of the solution. Right. Whatever it may be, COVID or racism or sexism, whatever that is, like, we need to be part of the solution. So that's just where I'm at.
And I say, like, you know, it's not as much, like, for me, when I look at, you know, statistics and I kind of like things don't seem to add up. It doesn't seem like COVID is the cause. I feel like it's what the government and politicians are doing in the name of COVID. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not even really about COVID for me. It's like, man, why the whole, you know, why are they talking about another lockdown possibly this winter? Because, you know, the outbreak is gonna, you know what I mean? Like this in the wintertime, the flu outbreaks happen every year. So it's like, is that going to be, the flu somehow disappeared last year. And then now it's like, you know, this is coming. We're going to deal with this again. Now, when is this going to end? When is this going to stop? We're going to keep locking down the country in the name of keeping everybody healthy. You know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead, Cal.
No, I'm just listening, bro.
Yeah,
Just, when you talk, bro, I just be like making me mad, bro. It's just like,
right.
yeah.
It's like we gotta just live our lives eventually. And I'm not saying, and people, please, if you listen to me, I'm not trying to be flippant. Like, just let people get sick. I'm not saying that. I'm saying let people live their lives. And you know, there comes a time where you just gotta let people just, you know, like just allow people to do what they feel like is best for them. What did you do before COVID? Think about life before COVID.
Man,
you didn't walk around
illegal things.
You didn't go to the store and be like, oh my God, I wonder if that person next to me is sick. You know what I mean? Like you used common sense, right? If you knew somebody was sick, I'm talking about before COVID. If you knew somebody was sick, let's say I walk up to Wes, he's like, yo, I got the flu. You know what I mean? What do you usually do? You like, oh man, all right, bro.
Dap you up, bro.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, all right, bro, keep your distance, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if, you know, how many people had the flu and they really just like sneezed in your face on purpose? You know what I mean? Like, you know, like how many people really got the flu and like, you know, what do people usually do?
Really
they get the flu. They stay home.
They chill out.
You stay home. And then, you know, you stay home. And if you go to work, what people say, man, why you at work, bro? You need to be at home. You're going to get everybody else sick.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
You know,
you gotta let adults be adults, man. People be people. Make people,
you know?
let people know what's best for themselves. You know,
if I knew you were sick,
we can't tell people what's best for themselves.
All right, bro, get away from me, bro.
Yeah.
You know, Dion told me you flew. I'm like, all right, bro. All right, cool.
Some people don't tell you though. Like some people just out here, like, you know,
get an elbow,
doing whatever they want to do. And even with being sick, like you can still show those symptoms. You can still walk around and you can still sneeze. You may do something that you're unaware that you're doing. Like you may wipe your nose and touch something, and then somebody else may touch something and they can still contract that, you know, still contract the flu. And that it's the same way with COVID to me. Like all of that stuff is the same. Like you in the store, you touching the carts, and you know what I'm saying? People wiping their nose and hands, digging, eating, you know, the food utensils and stuff.
Yeah. You use wisdom. You wash your hands. Right, you go into the store before you go into the cart, you sanitize your hands.
Mm-hmm. But before the jab, before pre-jab time, there was nobody washing their hands going into restaurants. You going and doing what you doing. You ain't had no hand sanitizer. Some people, I'm saying some people. I ain't saying
I've seen.
That's true. You know,
at my
some people
at
just
my
going
old
straight
place of my old place of employment. I've seen people come off the toilet, walk straight out.
Bro, I had too, man.
I'm like, what?
I've seen that at my own place.
I have to look at you.
You about to get kicked out.
Jalen Rose had a funny story. He was at this hotel and he was in the bathroom and this guy was, you know, going number 2 and he flushed the toilet, walked right out.
That's so disgusting.
That's true story.
Jalen saw him and like remember what he looked like. A couple minutes later, the guy walked up to him, was like, "Oh, Jalen Rose, like big fan, man," and like stuck his hand out. And Jalen was like, "Nah, bro." It's like, "Nah, like thanks for the love, but I'm not shaking your hand.
You don't wash them."
And he said the guy got mad and like was offended.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Dude, I watched you walk out of the bathroom. You took a deuce and just walked out." Like,
boy, it's up in there strong.
That's so nasty.
I support Jalen Rose in that.
Yeah, me too. I seen it at my own job, yo. Dude in there for hours. Like he was in there for hours, yo.
Getting it in.
Going hard. And I'm like I left, go to the bathroom, and I didn't want to work one time, so I went there again because I was trying to chill. Dude's still up in there. Like, I don't know if he was in there smoking, but I know he was up in there, you know, unloading. And dude just came straight out. He just, you know, went straight out. Lunch.
Tried to dap you up.
That boy out there. No, he ain't trying to dap me up, but I said, "What up, though?" But that boy came out there eating. That boy was doing his thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That boy.
That's
I don't know, man.
We gotta get rid of the universal greeting of a handshake, bro.
Yeah. Elbows. What up, bro? What's happening?
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah.
That's one thing I do. Like we can keep the little sanitation stations. Don't lose those.
Yeah,
those around.
Yeah,
I mean,
bro.
you know, this whole thing, if it hasn't done anything, I mean, I've learned a lot. But one thing I have learned to be a little bit, if I'll say, is be more conscious of germs.
Mhm.
You know, I'm just a little bit more conscious. I'm like, oh, okay, man, I wasn't washing my hands like you're saying before I went to a restaurant. Now I kind of more conscious of that now. You know what I mean? Because I mean, how are things spread? Most of the times things are spread through touching, through hands.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? You know, so I think you operate in wisdom. You know, I don't think it has to be like, oh my God, like you just gotta take all these extra precautions. If you want to take extra precautions on yourself, cool, that's fine. I don't, you know, I know people who were germaphobes before COVID.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like every little thing you touch, they're like, oh, I'm not touching that, you know. And I'm like, hey man, you a germaphobe, you know.
Mhm.
So you know,
I
if
don't
that's how,
want to touch the dirt. You ain't gonna touch that dirt, y'all. You
right,
trash. You got
right, right.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they sanitize their hands before they touch anything. Like those kind of people, like you know. And I just think, you know, you use wisdom. It's not really that hard of a concept, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, I think you just use, but you know, if we always relying on what we see in the news, that's constantly pumping fear, like you know, statistics for everything and around the world, people are dying all the time. You know, you can't really prevent that.
And the news has been pumping
Unfortunately.
diseases for years, you know, like
Yeah.
H1N1, but all these little flus and all this kind of stuff. Like this
And
doesn't feel
SARS
any
and
different to me.
Look,
It just
man,
feels like they took it to another level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
all that
that's
stuff
just
is
me.
real, G. Like all
It is
of
real. I'm not saying that it's not, but I'm saying
Yeah.
where there's no threat detected in my book.
Oh
you know?
yeah, I'm just
I'm
saying,
not-
like
There's no threat detected as far as living my life on a normal day-to-day basis, you know. And what
Right.
do little things like masks do, for example? Like if you're not healthy, but you see everybody walking around with a mask on, that does something to your psyche that says we're in a pandemic or they're sick or everybody's sick.
or the air's
So-
dirty, and I don't want to consume
You know what I'm
that
saying?
air.
Yeah.
You don't know. We have to understand what that's doing, like to people. And so I don't know, just outside looking in on that aspect for me.
So
Man.
I will
Yeah.
say this though too, fellas. Our worldview is based off of what's before us,
Mhm.
right? A worldview changes based off what's in front of you. So if your worldview is poverty, right? So you don't have any water, you don't have any clean water, I should say, you don't have any food, your perspective on things may be different from somebody that has all those things. So I'm making the point of saying if you have family members that passed away from COVID-19 or the hospital say COVID-19, your perspective may be a little different.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Especially
Yeah.
if it's somebody close to you.
Yes, sir.
I witnessed
course.
that close hand. Like my accountant, his brother passed away, and his whole perspective on it changed. I also witnessed my banker; he passed away. I also witnessed, you know, I mean, different people and start curving perspective. Because honestly, if we're truthful with ourselves here, is you can read an article that justifies any thought process in
Yeah,
this whole
For
thing.
sure.
You can read an article that justify whatever you want to justify and however you want to feel.
Right.
Yeah.
But I do like this. We said some key things. I think Kenny, I think you said the word wisdom. I think Wes, you said the word solution. And I think to me that wisdom comes from God. And whatever decision we make should not just be based off of article we read, research we've done, statistics we know of, or whatever. I think it has to come from God, period. Whatever decision or how we feel about what we feel with COVID and the jab and all the above. And I think that's the perspective, because I know a lot of Christian people who have not been vaccinated. And I know a lot of Christian people who are, jab. And I know a lot of Christian people, non-Christian people. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase it. Let me get it right. This jab thing messing me up. I know a lot of Christian people who've gotten the jab and not gotten the jab. And to me, they made a decision. I don't know about all, but I know a lot of them prayed before they make a decision. There's still people in the middle. They're still trying to make a decision. So to me, wisdom comes from God, and that's period.
Yeah.
And as far as solution, I'm 100% for that. Like we have to be for the solution for any major problem or problems in general in the world. And we need to respond. So if Kenny's response is eat healthier, then you speak about eating healthier and show eating healthier, right? Give that example. If someone else is like, man, that jab is going to help the world, and they truly believe, and they can be in the hospital field, whatever, that's the way they believe we should fight. And I think that's where I stand. I have to stand in the middle of all of this and say, to me, there's no right or wrong way to me, because to me, the jab or not a jab still takes faith.
Yeah.
Right. If I get the jab and I say, okay, I believe in this, and I believe that this is going to be good for my body and good for the future, and it's going to impact the community. If I don't get the jab, I'm still having faith and saying I'm going to be okay, blah, blah, blah. Either way, it's going to take a level of faith. So I think from a Christian perspective, we have to be constantly seeking God more than anything, any news, any article, any group, anything. Because if we don't, we run a risk of coming up with a solution based off our own feelings and thoughts, or even what we deem as great research. Because the truth, no one really has the proper answer to all of this. No one has the 100%. This is the solution. This is how it should be. No one does really. We all think we do, or we all, you know what I mean? But no one truly does. That's why you have articles on all aspects. I've read so many articles about this stuff, and they're on all aspects. It just depends on who you talk to and what article and what news and whatever you want to watch. It's going to tell you something different.
And that's why we got to allow people to come to their own conclusions. You know, you're right. If you go to the internet, you'll see something that will agree with your viewpoint, you know, and you'll see something, you know, you always have stuff out there that will confirm your bias. That's true. So that's why I always tell people to think for yourselves. Read the opposing argument. Be familiar with the other side, because it might be something that you're missing. I'd say this about any issue, you know, and that's kind of like the main thing I hear people say, like, you can read any article. Like, yeah, I get it. But we also have our own brains where we're able to think for ourselves. And I think people have forgotten how to think. Instead of waiting to be told what to think, you know, that's kind of like what we're dealing with right now. I think in our country is just this, you know, you say something that's, you know, counter to the narrative, the general narrative, and it's like, well, you're not a scientist, you're not an expert, and it's like, really?
Bro, you be killing me when you talk about other people. What they be saying, bro.
Your head, bro. You're like,
it's like,
trust the science.
Trust
the science.
Trust the experts. like I'm like, God. You know, I just don't understand why it's almost like a you know, almost
echo
like
chamber.
Echo chamber, yeah. You know, it's almost like an evil thing to think for yourself nowadays. You know, it's like certain information is pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. And then if you're one of those people that's like, I don't know, bro, I don't trust that. Ah, man, it's just this and that, and you what crazy article you read, and what idiot on YouTube you watch? And it's like, hold on, like,
so, and that's bringing it back to the biblical perspective, you know, for the Christian, how to be the solution. And I think we got to get back to the basics, almost kind of like love your neighbor. Like, we just break it down. It's like, how do we be the solution in a time like this? It's just to love people, man, regardless of what status you think they is. So I don't know. It seems simple, but I feel like it is the simple solution right now, because it's just too many seeds of division. We have to fight against that. That's our job, to fight against that.
And that's one of the problems, bro. Like, the problem for me today, not even with the vaccines and all that stuff, like, the problem for me today is people feeling, I won't say entitled, but people feeling entitled to know, or people like placing your personal business first. Like, you don't need to know that, you know, I'm vaccinated, or you don't need to know my sexuality. You don't need to know any of that stuff. Like,
get why, head, bro?
That's my big thing. Like, the vaccine thing, like, that's supposed to happen. because of a virus spread. But the fact that you need to know where I stand as far as you getting the vaccine, or you gay, you straight, or you like hip hop or country, like I mean,
violating, bro. That's violating.
Like I don't need to tell you if I'm vaccinated or not, or I don't need to tell you that I like men or I like women, or even some people out there, they like other stuff, but all of the exposing of personal business is my issue with the world today. Like that's my problem.
Yeah, I feel you. 100. I mean, yeah, and on top of that, like, I mean, it's obvious we should be led by the Holy Spirit. It's obvious we should be walking in love. Yeah, we should be selfless. But make sure that your conclusions that you come to, make sure they're rooted in truth. That's all. Make sure they're rooted in facts. If you're doing X, Y, and Z, make sure that there's actually truth behind that, and not just, well, such and such said it. So, I always, I think, I just think that sometimes we have allowed ourselves to be caught up in the propaganda. But that's what we're being fed every day. It's propaganda every day. Boom, boom, boom. I tell people who are living in fear. I was talking to this lady at my job the other day, and she was like, she was just kind of had this fear on her face, and she heard something about a COVID outbreak, and it's just like, oh God, I don't know what to do for my son, and he's going back to school. And I was like, I said, you know what? She was like, what is your opinion on it? And I was like, well, I said, look, first thing you need to do is turn the news off. Turn the news off. One of my favorite people, Jordan Peterson, he's a psychiatrist, and he said that's one of the number one things he tells his patients to do to relieve anxiety, to reduce their anxiety. Turn the news off. You know what I mean? Because it's fear all day, every day. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying don't be informed, right? But I'm saying at the same time, realize that, you sometimes you need to unplug, because then you start to see, maybe all this is not as warranted as I thought it was. Because you read the news and you think, you watch the news and you think the world is burning down. Everywhere is bad news right now, especially with like everything going on with Afghanistan and all that.
R.I.P. Those we lost over there, man. Even before the attack, like just that whole conflict over there, man. Just
craziness.
Praying for that whole situation over there. That's tough, bro.
Yeah.
That's
but
another thing.
Yeah, that's a whole another episode. Yeah. Go ahead.
I think it's safe to say that with this whole dialogue we're having, it's not saying that we have all the answers to the jab versus not the jab. And I think we're bringing just dialogue and thought process when it comes to thinking about how the jab's affecting communities and how COVID is affecting communities and the response of a Christian. But I think that I want to say that because this is just a big topic for Christian and non-Christian people. And I mean, majority of people that probably connect to us are Christ followers, but I will want to say that I personally know that I don't have the answer to this to this problem, and I'm not a hater on either side of whether you chose to get the jab or not get the jab. But I am a person that will say that to every decision you make, pray, and to every decision you make, seek the Lord wholeheartedly. And if you've gotten the jab or not gotten a jab, I hope that you did seek the Lord either way. You know what I mean? And I, me personally, I don't have the answers, and I'm not anti either way. But I will say that God will give you the answer and direction if you are trying to debate whether you should get the jab or if you have gotten it. God, I believe that and you sought after the Lord, or you seek the Lord in the midst of your decision. I think you're gonna be just fine. But that's what I wanted to say, because there's so much controversy around this. Yeah. I get it a lot from being a business owner. I get people calling me about all types of different things. So we have a whole statement on our website just about COVID and policies and all these different things, and we follow CDC guidelines. You know what I mean? my staff wear masks. You know what I mean? So all the above. No matter how you feel about it, you don't follow CDC guidelines. But
it's your butt if you don't.
Go ahead, bro.
So that's your ASS if you don't.
Yeah.
I get it.
Me working in healthcare myself, like
Sound
having
like
those
CDC.
Conversations, man. Like, what'd you say? You said it sound like CDC?
Yeah. No, I was talking to Wes.
Oh, okay. No, I'm saying, like, me working in healthcare and having conversations with people every day about, how they should conduct themselves, going to certain hospital locations and things like that. Like, it's it's hard to try to express to someone like, hey, this is what we have in place. And then you have to follow that because that's the rules, like that's the regulations of that location. Well, it's my right to do this and I shouldn't have to do that. Well, I'm like, well, sir, ma'am, you cannot get service if you don't follow that. And some people try to bring the God-given right of existing into stipulations or regulations of certain locales. So yeah, you have the right to not wear a mask, but you have to follow those rules of that building.
Yeah, and you're bringing up a good point. Like with businesses, and people need to know that it's like they have, that's part of freedom as well. It's like to put the stipulations on their businesses that they see fit. And so the thing is, in regards to that though, is like people have the right to go to your business or not. So it's your choice to put those stipulations, and it's your choice not to. But either way, it's going to have complications or stipulations in this today's, like you have a consequence for every choice that you make. Either way, you flip it. So
well, I think I have no problem businesses doing what they got to do because I get it. Like you put your heart, like Ernest puts his heart and soul and time and money into a business, and if which I think is unrighteous, if the government says, hey, you got to do this, what is he gonna say? Nah, I've seen some businesses do that, held out, but everybody ain't got that strength to do that. You know what I mean?
Or the pockets.
Or the pockets, exactly, or the pockets. Them fines can be hefty. And if you feeding if some of these people are feeding their family off the business, off this business and that business, I get it. I don't have no problem with businesses doing what they have to do to survive. I get it. I have a problem with the government mandating it. I think the businesses should just have a choice. And let the market speak for themselves, for itself, in my opinion. If I'm not one of those people that you've seen these videos of people going in the store and say, I don't have to wear a mask, and like making a big scene, like I'm not doing that. I'm not really a fan of masks at all. But when I had to go grocery shopping, I put it on. I was like, I'm not about to, put these people, these people getting paid minimum wage. I'm not about to put them through that. You know what I mean? For real. Like, people are just living their life. People just working their job. They don't want to lose. Most people, just regular people, just don't want to lose their job or whatever. They have to be, unfortunately, the one to enforce this crazy stuff. So I just, I went to this grocery store, I put my mask on. It's all good. I went to this place because it was a point in our society where it was mandated everywhere. Now it's more like, which I'm more in favor of giving businesses the choice to whether they want to enforce something or not. Because then I can be like, oh, you mandated the jab? Or you mandated vax? Oh, okay, I'm gonna go to another restaurant there. Cool, no problem. No worries.
You think?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you think that because of because of the jab or the T virus from Resident Evil, do you think because of the steps forward to produce that to help people, do you think that's why they may be a little bit more lenient as far as, oh, okay, this person isn't wearing a mask, so yeah, you can step into this establishment, do your thing in here, just
What do you mean?
Well, I'm saying, like, because you said before the mask was like, the mandate,
right?
Or, what I'm saying, like, now you say that, it's more open, like people have more of a choice now.
Right.
And I'm saying, like, because of the jab, like, do you believe that that's why it's more lenient now, like taking those steps forward?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you're saying that the society feels they can return more back to normal because of people being jabbed up?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Cal.
I mean, I could say that that's a reason, initially why things started to open up. So my thing is though, why would we go back to it, if we have a jab now? So that's my only concern. Is so I see where we're at now, but I see where they're trying to take it, back to where we were previously doing the same things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, what are we really doing? Also, there's more viruses. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm saying about the overreach. There's just more that they can layer on this to keep us where we're at if we, just allow it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like there has to be that push and pull on because we're different we're in a different type of country. So we're fueled by the people, not by the government. And so
Bring your
we
mic
have
back
to
up,
have
bro.
that tug and pull. Oh, my bad.
There
So
you
we
go.
have to have that tug and pull with the people and the government because that keeps them from overreaching. Because I was saying that we're a different type of country that's fueled by the people, not by its government. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're fueled by our
checks
states.
and balances. Yeah, I feel you. We got those checks and balances in place.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm all for freedom. That's the basis of a lot of what I say is I believe in freedom. Freedom to make your own decisions. Businesses should be able to do what they want, and I should have the freedom to be like, I'm good. I'm going somewhere else. I let my dollar speak for itself. I don't argue with people, businesses over their rules, over their restrictions. I'm going somewhere else.
So you standing on no government, like no government pushing and spreading of any kind of rhetoric of vaccine or jab. Sorry, that's where you standing.
Like I mean, it's like I'm not a fan of government intervention most of the time. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time. Period. In anything. You know what I mean? Usually in most situations, something is ruined or worse off than it was before when the government steps in anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't trust government. I don't trust the government has my health in mind. I don't trust the government to make decisions for me.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in making my decisions for me and for my family, what's best for them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that's anything though. This is beyond jab, or mask and stuff like that. This is period. So.
And for some people, that does take faith because, a lot of people rely on the government to help them make decisions. So,
yeah, I mean, I feel like in a way we all rely on government somehow, but as far as this situation here, oh yeah, this situation here, man, it's sensitive for a few different reasons, man, and I think at the end of the day, we just need to pray. Like we just need to consider our loved ones, consider those people that we care about, consider those, past times that we consider near and dear, man, and just be thankful in a way that we can still do them in some capacity, man, because there's some people out here that's, in bad situations and, it's tough. I'll just say that, man, just personally, like it's tough.
Yeah,
sure.
For
sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. Yeah, man. We just wanted to create dialogue on this. I just kind of see the world as just, I might wake up and, we might have I can't go to the grocery store. I don't know. We really living in a clown world right now, man. For real. So, this is affecting.
Oh no, man. Let's just. My bad. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Oh.
I was just say, all in all, just be part of the solution, and
For sure.
do your part to try to stay healthy, eat right, and not be that guy Kenny was talking about, being resistant to stuff causing the scene. Like it's not a good look. It's not a good look. People are already looking for ways to like, not like Christians or even be a Christian. So let's just be part of the solution, dog.
Yeah, and not part of this madness.
Yeah.
Let's just stay in our lane. Like we said, walk in love. Because we dealing with principalities now. Spiritual battle, like Kenny keep saying every episode, or
Yeah.
well, you've been saying every time we talk at least.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, it's just we just recognize that. So
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, really praying right now too, man. Asking the Lord for wisdom during these crazy times we're living in. Like for real. Like ask the Lord to give you wisdom and how to maneuver during these times. Because the world is getting more and more evil. And this is just kind of like opening my eyes to like we really seeing some stuff that used to be just in books playing out in real life. So continue to, anybody's watching, ask God for wisdom.
And if it's some healthcare, if it's any healthcare, workers or anyone who may know a little bit more about this vaccine, any experts, any specialists or anything like that, like feel free to let us know. Like feel free to, post about it, post on Telegram if you can, send us an email, tribetabletalk21@gmail.com. None of us are experts. Like we just have our own opinions and experiences. So let us know what's going on if you know.
And we would love to interview experts. No doubt. That's coming soon. So
that's a good idea, Kyle. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you were trying to introduce that new season.
We could. Yeah, I'm out for it, man. Let me know. Y'all connect with some interesting people. Let me know, man. We want to bring them on the show.
Yeah.
Word up.
Any closing words, Ernest, or what's up?
Hey, I think y'all said it all, man. It all goes back to the Lord. I mean, all we do, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things shall be added unto us, right? Is that the scripture, right? So I think that's important. I think that in all things that we do, seek God first.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Whatever you eat and drink and jab.
And jab.
For the glory of God.
Drink, jab.
Truth.
Drink, jab. I like it.
Okay. And, ask the Lord for discernment too, man, during these times. Ask the Lord to needed. Ask the, and you know what? I really believe he'll answer these prayers. I think that sometimes we make things so spiritual, but it's like, I think it's okay to ask God for the little things. For Lord, give me discernment. Ask the Lord for discernment to see, to be able to decipher what's truth and what's lies. You know what I mean? What's truth and what's false. Give him discernment to, ask him to give you discernment to be able to really see and ask the Lord to give you the ability to see, what you need to see. Ask the Lord. Some people really got scales over their eyes, man. So just pray. Continue to pray, In
this time of so much information and disinformation and so many outlets, you don't know where to look, and you know what I'm saying? We was just kind of talking to that point.
Yeah.
So it's like, you need discernment right now. Yeah. That's like my number one prayer daily.
That's good. I was gonna say that too. Yep. Ask the Lord to help you decipher between true information and misinformation and disinformation. For sure. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. So
real rap raw.
No doubt.
True, fellas. Hey, it's been good.
Yeah.
That was good.
All right. We love y'all.
All on the table, baby.
Episode 9 in the books.
One time for the one time, cuh.
I'll let y'all.
Peace.
Oops. I almost had to leave meeting again.